You know that feeling, right? Like you're just going through the motions, ticking off boxes, getting through the day, but not really living. Well, today we're going to dive into a psychological framework that explains exactly why we get stuck like that, and more importantly, how we can break free and start building a life that feels abundant and real.
So all of this comes from the incredible work of Dr. Michael Lukens, a clinical psychologist who's been doing this for over 3 decades. And his ideas are built on some pretty profound shoulders. He was inspired by Ernest Becker's Pulitzer-winning book, The Denial of Death, and also by the research of Dr. Kenneth Ring, who's a total pioneer in studying near-death experiences. In fact, Dr. Lukens actually met him back in grad school.
And this quote from Dr. Lukens, it just hits the nail on the head. We get so wrapped up in the mechanics of surviving that we completely forget the art of living. This is the exact problem we're going to unpack together.
Okay, so to really get this, Dr. Lukens gives us this amazing metaphor, a house. He argues that for most of us, our default psychological state is what he calls living in the basement. It's this place of scarcity and fear, and it's where we operate from, most of the time.
So what keeps us stuck down there in the dark? Well, it's this incredibly powerful concept called the denial of death. Now, this isn't about us consciously being afraid all the time. It's more of an unconscious psychic numbing, a deep-down avoidance of our own mortality that makes us obsess over the quantity of our life instead of its quality.
And you can really see the trade-off right here. This whole denial thing funnels all our energy into just surviving, self-preservation. But that comes at a huge cost. We miss out on self-expression, on appreciation, on actually savoring what's in front of us. We're basically trapped on the left side of this chart.
So, how in the world do you break free? What does it take to finally get out of the basement? Well, sometimes life delivers what you might call a cold slap in the face, a moment that cracks the very foundation of our denial. And these catalysts, they are usually pretty dramatic. We're talking about things like near-death experiences, or a really deep philosophical reckoning, or maybe medically assisted introspection. Basically, anything powerful enough to completely shatter what Dr. Lukens calls our denial machinery and forces us to see the world with brand new eyes.
This quote just perfectly captures that transformation. It's like Ebenezer Scrooge waking up on Christmas morning. After one of these awakenings, people come back with this overwhelming appreciation for everything. The good, the bad, even the boring stuff. It's this profound, unconditional yes to life itself.
So once you have that awakening, you're not in the basement anymore. You've moved up to the first floor. And this is where we can really see the 2 fundamental ways of being, the core architecture of our psychological home. Let's break them down.
On one side, you've got the scarcity mindset of the basement. This is where you're operating from a psychological deficit. You feel anxious, you're clinging, and you're always looking to be loved. But on the other side, you've got the abundance mindset of the first floor. Here, you're operating from a surplus. You feel trusting, you're open, and you're looking for ways to give love.
And really, this is the whole game, right here. It's a fundamental shift in your entire emotional economy. When you feel whole and taken care of from the inside, your motivation just flips from getting to giving. You're not trying to fill a hole anymore, you're overflowing.
Okay, but here's the reality check. The vast majority of us spend our lives in the basement, operating from that state of scarcity. For most people, life on the first floor is like this, undiscovered country. So what does it actually feel like to live there? What are the behaviors, the mindsets that really define a life of abundance? What's life like up on the first floor? Well, up on the first floor, you start to trust your gut, your intuition. You naturally start to see the good in other people, which creates this beautiful, beneficent cycle. The more you give, the more you feel filled up, which just makes you want to give even more. And critically, you start taking responsibility. Which brings up a really crucial question. Picture this. You're in a room full of people, a problem pops up, things go wrong. Who is the one that steps up and takes responsibility?
The answer, almost every single time, is the person operating from abundance. They're the one on the first floor, the one who feels secure enough to act while everyone else is still in the basement, protecting themselves.
And why do they step up? Because they can afford it. And we're not talking financially. We're talking psychologically. They have a surplus of self-worth. So while everyone in the basement is busy protecting what little they feel they have, the person on the first floor has enough to spare. And according to Dr. Lukens, that is the essence of real leadership. But, and this is a big but, this new perspective, this new leadership position, it comes with a pretty heavy challenge.
A real moral dilemma pops up when you're the one who's finally made it out. Here's how it plays out. You've made it to the first floor, and it feels incredible. But then you look back, and you see your friends, your family, people you love, still struggling down there in the dark. Your first instinct is to reach down and pull them up. But here's the risk. In doing so, they might just pull you right back down with them.
And this isn't a question of being selfish versus being selfless. It's about resource management. You only have so much emotional and psychological bandwidth. The real challenge is figuring out how to use it wisely, without burning yourself out or losing the stability you fought so hard for.
So the answer isn't to just run away and forget about everyone in the basement. No, it's to get your own house in order first. You just can't be an effective guide for anyone if you're not standing on solid ground yourself.
This is really the key insight here. Your first job when you get to the first floor isn't a rescue mission. It's exploration. You need to understand this new way of being to really solidify your own position there. Only then can you help others from a place of genuine, unshakable strength.
So let's do a quick recap. Our default state is often this psychic numbing that keeps us just surviving, not living. But a profound awakening can shift us from a scarcity mindset to one of abundance, where we start giving from a surplus. But with that incredible new perspective comes a huge responsibility to manage our energy and lead wisely. And that leaves us with one final thought. You don't need some dramatic, life-shattering event to start this journey. Really, the first step is just awareness. So take a second, look around your own psychological house, and just ask yourself, what floor are you living on?